Hey guys, Matt from Midwest Lacrosse Company here. Today we're going to be talking about shooting strings, which are pretty important in the release of your throw, obviously. But the most important thing is sidewalls, which we went over in a previous video, so if you need to check that out. Sidewalls are going to affect the hold, the whip, and everything else in your pocket the most. All the shooting strings do is give it a little bit extra hold, a little bit extra whip, but you shouldn't rely on your shooting strings to make your pocket do what you want it to do. It should throw almost how you'd like it to before you throw the shooters in. Alright, so there are two main styles of shooters. This is the most simple and most popular right now. It's called the weaved shooter. Very easy to do, very consistent. The ball doesn't hit off it too hard, so it gives you a nice smooth clean release. We also have the old school rolled shooter. Advantages to this, it gives you a little bit more whip, a little bit more hold, a little bit more feel, and it doesn't necessarily have to give you more whip if you make them nice and loose, but you're definitely going to feel the ball coming off the strings a little more. So I'm going to show you how to do both of these techniques. I'm going to show you the slow weave and the fast weave, and then I'll show you on the third string I'll show you how to do a rolled shooter. Without further ado, so here we have our Evo 4X that we've been working on. We did the top string, and then we did the sidewalls together, and then we also did the bottom string in another video, so if you need to check those out, go for it. We're gonna start our top shooting string in the third hole from the top. That's where I like to start. It's pretty solid release point for your last shooter. So I go 1, 2, 3. We get this 9-diamond row right here, and it lines up really nicely with this plastic hole. So I like to go through the plastic hole, especially on the top string. It gives you a little extra tightness there for the ball to pop off of and hopefully not hit off the scoop too much. Alright, so this is the slower way to weave a shooter. I like to take this one, make it not quite as long as this other guy. So if we'll make the back guy about 4 or 5 inches longer than the front guy. So we'll take the string in the front and we're gonna weave it first. We'll go in through that first diamond row and down through the second, in through the third, down through the fourth, in through the fifth, down through the sixth, in through the seventh, down 8, up through the 9. Alright, now we're going to take our back string that's a little bit longer. We're going to go over the top of the string in that first 9-diamond hole to create the start of our weave. Now we're going to do the opposite of that. We're going to come back up through the bottom of our second hole, and that's how we get it to go over and under itself. Try to keep the string as flat as possible. We can go back over the top, back underneath, over the top, back underneath, over the top, back underneath again for that nice weave, and then over the top one more time. And then I'm going to take this front string that I've been weaving and stick it through this sidewall hole. You can also just weave it up between the mesh and the sidewall strings if you don't have a hole to fit it through. I'll show you how to do that maybe on the third one. Alright, so now that we've got this here, there's a couple different ways to tie it off. You want your top string to be the tightest because you want the ball to leave the stick at that point. So the way I like to tie it off is with a couple little square knots. So you go over and then use the same string to go over itself, and maybe a third time to get it tight. Alright, cool. Now for the fast weave, we're going to take our string, we're going to go skip a diamond row because that's what we do. We're going to go down to this next 9-diamond row right here. I'm going to put it through the plastic one more time just to give it a little bit more tightness up there and helping release the ball. This time I'm gonna pull these two strings the same length right there, about the same length, because they're gonna be weaving at the same time. So if you watch carefully, you're gonna take this top string in the back side and go over, and take the bottom string in the front side and go under, like so, and then pull. Back string goes over, front string goes under. Back string over, front string under. Back string over, front string under. And you just cruise across the stick just like that. So it's a little bit faster way to do that same weave. That's the way I like to do it, because I string up a lot of sticks over time, so it saves me a little bit of time. Alright, and then we'll go back through that other sidewall hole. Since we've got it, we want this one to be looser than the first one. Just, you know, flush, not tight though. If you want more whip, you can pull it tighter, but I like to only pull the top one really tight. We got it knotted up. Alright, now for this final one, just for a little style, we'll throw in a rolled shooter, also just so you guys can learn how to do it. Alright, so this time, instead of going through the hole, I'll just go and find this spot right here between the mesh and the sidewall there, and just pull it through. And then I'm going to take that string that's in the front that I just pulled through and go back through there. Alright. Now, for this one, we're going to weave it on this, we're going to roll it on this 10 diamond row and this 9 diamond row. So all you have to do is make sure that this front string that you pulled through comes across just far enough to tie a knot. You want the other string to be much longer, the back string. Alright, so what we do to make this weave work is we go through this 10 diamond hole, and then we go underneath the string through the 9 diamond row, and that's how we started out. Now we go again through this 10 diamond hole, underneath through the 9 diamond hole, and you can see how things are starting to roll up. You have to pull them tighter later, but so we go through that next 10 diamond hole, and we come underneath the string through the next 9 diamond hole, and we're getting ourselves a nice roll right there. So I'm gonna keep cruising. You guys can watch and try on your own. Through the 10, out through the 9, through the 10, out through the 9. Gotta stop every now and again and try to make sure that that roll is at least a little bit tight. You don't want this string to be tight, but you want the roll string to be pretty tight. Alright. 10 hole, 9 diamond hole. 10 hole, and the 9 diamond hole. 10 hole, and back out that 9 diamond hole, and then through that last 10 hole, and then to pull that one back out, so we're on this side of it with this guy. I'm just gonna shove him, if you can see it, through this gap right here, and the same gap that we started on the other side between the mesh and the stick, and it comes out right there. So now what we do is we go back, make sure that these rolls are pulled fairly snug. You don't want the anchor, that center string, to be too tight, otherwise you're gonna whip to the floor, but you want the rolls themselves to be fairly snug so they don't really catch the ball in a weird way. And then you just knot it up like you do all the other ones. Obviously top string's the tightest, middle string's a little looser, bottom string's the loosest. That gives you that clean release and you don't get a weird shelf. you get a nice clean come off. So that is how you do weave shooters and barreled shooters, rolled shooters. So have fun, be patient, take your time. Make sure you don't pull your shooters too tight except for the top one. Don't forget to check out MidwestLacrosse.com, at MWLax01 on Twitter and Instagram, and Midwest Lacrosse Strings on Instagram. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and tune in next time. We'll have something more for you.